Hi guys, I didn't actually know I was live. Hi. Can you guys hear me? Say hi if you can hear me. So that's my phone. Hi people. My name is Eniola. Welcome to the IRI Youth channel. And today we're going to be having an amazing guest called Josiah. Josiah is going to join us today to speak about his university story, and he's just going to be sharing his journey with us. And I'm here for it. I am totally here for it. I hope you're well. If you are on, just say hello, hi, just wave, say something. Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling me beautiful. I needed that. I needed it. Okay, I needed it. Hi, Esther. Hi, PM. I hope you're good. We're just waiting for Josiah to come in.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
Just one weather in this England, and that's definitely winter and the start. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really, really good. Very tired because I've been traveling a lot, but thank God I'm really well. How are you?
I'm not too bad. As we were saying, adulting is a scam. It really is.
It's good.
It's a scam.
Literally.
We need to run back to uni. Like, I'm here. Maybe I should do my masters.
That's the thing. Like, you deep that why your parents have been studying their whole life. It's a bit scary out here. It's really scary.
It's really
scary. It's good.
That's fantastic. We're just waiting for people to come in.
For sure.
We'll say hi to the people. Well, apart from the adulting and stuff, how's life been? Let's be more positive today. Let's bring good vibes, good energy. You know what I mean? Let's do this. So how's like
yeah, no, life's been good. Life's been good. So obviously coming out of university has been crazy hectic because obviously we left in a pandemic. So the world changed like as soon as we finished. But I don't think I ever expected any different. Like I remember I wrote it down in my journal like 3 years ago. I knew that the year I'd graduate, there'll be something different. And I used to tell the boys like, when we graduate, it's just not going to be normal. I never saw myself having a graduation ceremony. So nothing's different to me.
That's actually
so
like
literally, so it's all wrap, like I have no disappointments. Like everything that's happened is exactly how I saw it happening. So going into the world, I was always a little bit prepared. I think there are a few things I started. Like maybe I think for me anyways, God gave me like a major shift in my heart, like probably like 2 years ago. So the things I've started, the way that they evolved were perfect for this pandemic. So going into the world right now, I was over prepared. So when the pandemic came, like in my creative art and consultation and all that stuff, like I probably was heaviest demanded than ever before. So the transition into like real life has been okay. It's just like I guess being okay with the style of how I work, which is there is sometimes no certainty of how, for example, if you work for someone specifically, let's say in a job, okay, cool, you can get a fixed amount of money each month. And there is an essence of security that comes with it. But I think now it's you have to be good with relationships, you have to manage relationships, you have to lead teams, you have to manage people. And then if you want to do more, you have to hire people. So I'm at that stage where it's a lot of information always going through your mind, and you start to make more and more decisions. But it's interesting. It's been interesting so far. It's a scam though. Like adulthood is a scam, but it's all right.
No, it's all right. Like if you said it so well. Like I think, and I do agree with you, in the sense of the actual security. There's not that security there that that usually or need that because of the way things are. But before we continue, before we say anything, could we just say hello to the people that are in? Let's just acknowledge them and just
acknowledge them. What's up, guys? Thank you for coming. What's up? This is such an experience.
Can you imagine?
It's different.
Also, a lady called Josephine said hello. So, hi, Josephine. Hi.
What's up? What's up, Jay?
No?
I can't see any comments, you know. I mean, I'm gonna try to find a link. It looks a bit different for us.
You have a phone? Because I'm checking for my phone.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna check now just to see how we're looking. How we're
Yeah.
looking.
So another lady called Dorothy said hello. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Esther.
Real ones, you know.
I know. Always the females that are on time. I don't know what's up with you, man. But okay, I'm
Yeah. We have to have a different discussion about the man them because that one just never show up for things that help them.
no. Do
You know what
you
I'm
show?
saying?
Do you show something?
Me, I show up. I'm not here. I'm here.
Okay. To be fair, you are actually been you've been interviewed today, so yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I'm
But
here. Yeah.
even Issa said hi, how you see? I hope you're good. Welcome to the party. But no, as we were just saying, like it's very funny, like that you felt the way you felt. That's very, very interesting. Like
Yeah.
you feel like, and I feel like again, I think this is gonna even pertain to the discussion that we had this evening about, you know, being able to deal with like difficulty and being able to deal with like things not working out the way you planned it to be. And I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting, especially like from university days as well. Guys, welcome to the house. As we said, we have Josiah today speaking about his university story of how student finance almost shagged, you
Yeah.
know.
Just tried to finish.
Person, they've honestly. So yeah, Josiah, would you like to say anything before we start, or like should we just begin? You okay?
Not much to say, but I mean, just thank you for coming. Like, you know, these it's incredible right now. It's incredible time. So it's really nice when people support you and stuff like that. So I appreciate it, and I know you guys do as well. So I'm ready to have a chat.
All right. Thank you. Well said. Are you running for president soon or prime
They don't know. We're just waiting for Trump and Boris to finish their nonsense. Then we'll just see if we can.
minister? Let's not talk about it. We've been doing well, so let's just move on. We've been doing well. All right. So the first question we have today is: could you tell us a time about the most stressful challenge at university?
My most stressful challenge, you say?
Yeah.
Um, I would say, do you know, what it is. I think the generic answer is like the student finance stuff situation.
Mm.
I don't know if we're going to get into that a little bit more. Do you want to get into it now? But I think for me, away from that, simply, actually the biggest challenge was navigating my myself. I think that was it. I think just like being somebody that I know that God is trying to use and actually God wants to use. And from like knowing as a child that like your name was like given to you before you were born. So that means that God like thought of you and created you for a specific purpose. Like there's something that God really wants you to do. So then coming to university, the hardest thing truly was growing competency of myself and my talents, amongst everything that was going on. Like it was like, you know, relationally, how do I deal with people I like? How do I deal with women? How do I deal with men? How do I, like the basic issues, right? That was actually quite hard. Well, actually, that was more hard than I'd say the student finance. I think that's an external problem that, you know what I'm saying, that is doesn't affect every stage of my life. It affected this one stage. But I think knowing that if I be trash, let's say with friends in my life, or I'm a really horrible person to people, it will affect me for the rest of my life, and actually could start to build habits and proclivities that really wouldn't be great for who I say I want to become. So I think that was the hardest thing, really making those hard decisions and choices for myself.
So you think navigating friendships, and by the way, PM said no hi for her. Hi PM.
Pastor Mercy. What's up, Pastor Mercy? Pastor Mercy been messaging me today, and I'm not used to seeing her last name. I just normally have her as Pastor Mercy. So I was
Yeah.
like, who's this Mercy that's tagging me? I was like, I said, wow.
So good
But
afternoon.
good evening, man. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
No, good evening, PM. But yeah, no, I think it's so interesting. I think one thing that we've never been taught is how to also manage relationships throughout our lives. Like that's always going to be a consistent theme. It's always going to be a thing, and I think it's just whilst growing and then trying to learn to be able to keep up. And university is a new environment. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is
Mm.
just figure it out, and so it's quite difficult and it's quite challenging. So the next question was, did it impact any areas of your life? And if so, how did you deal with it and how did you overcome it? We're not talking about the student finance bit yet. I think after this, then we should then talk about the student finance bit. But just as you spoke
Okay.
about the whole like navigating, relationships and being competent about your giftings and your talents and how to just make it work, especially having that knowledge of who you're going to be and who you are.
Yeah.
How did that, did it impact your life? And if it did, how did you deal with it and how did you overcome it?
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get into it. Can I interrupt though quickly? I think Kemi was asking what I do and stuff. I don't think I introduced myself properly. I don't think I did
Oh,
it. So we should
okay,
start.
go
We should
ahead.
start there with it. We should start
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
We should start there. No, but that was a good question. But no. So I guess for those who don't know what I do and who I am, I'm a university student. Just graduated. I'm 22 years old. My name's Josiah. Um, I'm just a young, passionate young boy who creates stuff. So yeah, no, I do a lot of storytelling, and I started off with making YouTube content. Then went down the whole influencer path, and then actually from there started to discover that I was good with like creating short film stories, and then I started to work with a lot of brands, and I currently work with a lot of brands doing consultation and ideation and anything to do with creativity and kind of like bringing an idea from scratch to like physicality. That's majorly what I do. But the house of everything I do majorly is judgment, helping people make wise decisions, especially within business, the creative kind of industry. That's majorly what I do. But to the question, and I might need you to repeat the last bit.
I hope I
Yeah,
remember because I tried to. Okay, so
so you talk about the impact, right, or something like that.
the impact of the stressful challenges and how did you deal with it and overcome it? So like, did it impact any areas of your life in particular? So you can talk about different spheres of your life, like relationships, like friendships, like just different things. And then how did you deal with those areas of your life?
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So I think within university, right, the constant most stressful thing was obviously the student finance issue. And obviously for those who don't know, is student finance basically I came in, I had every right to student finance basically. I'd been in the country for the right amount of time, but my status is Nigerian. Um, and I effectively got denied in April when I was promised that they were going to give me finance, which meant I had come into uni with the faith that I'd get my finance in, so I didn't have that much money. I was basically now effectively owing university £9,000. They were chasing and hounding me, student finances, just messing me around, and from that it started to open up lots of issues in my life in terms of stress. So usually a person doesn't really get stressed, but I think my body was stressed. Like I was okay, but my body was stressed, and I think a part of people don't realize or know that happened was like I remember suffering with like really major anxiety, and I suffered 2 minor heart attacks in my first and second year.
Not
That's something
panic
I'm every.
attacks, heart attacks, right?
Pardon?
Not panic attacks, heart attacks.
Yeah, no. So it was a minor heart attack by the condition. There's a specific word for it, but basically, yeah. So I had I had 2 minor ones, because of like the stress, the strain, and I didn't really realize, and I didn't sleep so much, and I think that whole season was tough to navigate because yeah, like your mind is in 100 different places. You want to be there for everything you care about. You start to form new relationships. You start to form new bonds with people. You have the added pressure of the intersection of being a black, young, passionate, loud Christian boy trying to find the balance between don't do this, or I think all the intersections met at a point where I had so many stresses that like I actually physically start to break down. I think you guys used to see me in church. Like I'm very put together, but when I'm really with God, like I really let a lot out, and it's only in those moments, unless you're not going to see me kind of like crying or anything, like. But in those moments, I'm really there. So, I think the whole strain of everything together in university is incredible. And yeah, it impacted me because there are parts of my life that I suffered a few insecurities as a result. There's certain things, I had to learn how to trust again. I had to learn how to be patient again. I actually had to learn how to lean on God more again, because everything just seemed to be going wrong at the same time. So it made me very insecure, made me very, okay, like just don't trust things. So that's actually as a result why I became who I am now. Like there were so many problems, and I was like, there's too many problems. I need to find solutions. And at that point, I was already on zero, right? So anything I did was better than what I already had. So I was like, I'm gonna start photography, and cool, I'm partying. Everybody goes to parties. I hate parties by themselves, right? And I just don't like the idea of paying to go to party to do something I can do in my room. So I was like, okay, cool. If I can somehow get paid, um, to go to these events, still be with my friends, but be able to like make money to solve the issues of my life, then that would make sense. And then I discovered through that, like, oh, like, damn, I'm actually good at what I do. And then I started to learn more. And then this whole like new window um, of life opened up. And, you know, like the Bible verse says, your gifts will make room for you. Like that's literally what happened. And this is literally a gift, i.e. not like my talent. This was like almost this gift given to me. Like, oh, just do this. And it was so unique how everything happened, because university loaned out equipment, and our university out of the whole country gives out the best loans of equipment to students, you know, for free. And it was not by chance, like it was intentional. I was in the right place at the right time. And I overheard someone say, oh, yeah, we're looking for a photographer for a party. And I thought to myself in that moment, in 1 second, I said, there's like 7 to 10 parties in this Leicester a week. If I can shoot 10 at £100 an hour, I'd make £1,000 a week. So I did it, and I made it happen. That was like the quick moment. So the insecurities, I guess, paired with the passion and the drive to try to fix the issues of my life, it created the problem solver, which is what we call the creative now. So yeah, that was the impact on me, really.
Can we just pause right there? Can we just pause? Because first of all, that was like a crazy thing, like 10 parties. And you know, I think people just think of filming and stuff. First off, it's time, there's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about editing, because editing is another process.
Long.
Like the fact that you were able to have that mindset to think, okay, and I think the beautiful thing about challenges is how it causes you to change and shift your mindset. Like automatically you go from just normal life, you know, sad and worry and stress, and just feeling down to, okay, survival mode. Like, what can I do to get out of this mess? And literally, I think that is phenomenal. I didn't even know that. Hearing this, like,
because you wanted to fight me that year. You thought I was arrogant. If I come expose you, I'm expose you now.
I'm like, come on, like, can we just call me a little bit of slack? Like, can you just all things are the way you hold all things. I find it so phenomenal to hear how, you know, that mindset changed. And it's always funny when, you know, it's funny when we say, oh, what the enemy planned for evil, God turned it out for my good. But genuinely speaking, this was literally for your good. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is like,
sure.
I'm about to go and I'm about to, you know, navigate to another, but I'm gonna bring it back home, because I was gonna go preachy on you, but you know what? I will bring it back. But it's very amazing. It's really very amazing. So I'll just take the next question. I think towards the end I might just, you know, go into that part. But yeah, the next question is, did anyone from your support system okay. The question has been worded in a very terrible way. Did you have anyone? Did you form a support group or support system? And if so, were they instruments in helping you cope? Like, so I think this part definitely goes into, you know, vulnerability and letting people in. So yeah, like, did you form any support system? And also, like, were they instruments in helping you cope in that very tough season? So I feel like throughout uni was quite tough, if anything. But like, yeah, so either you want to make it generalized or you want to make it like a straightforward. You pick and choose.
Okay, so did I have a support system? It's funny because God gave me like a support system, but like if I be like incredibly like kind of honest, it's like I don't think I found like my perfect support system. I think I'm still building that. But I guess on the plain and simple of people who helped your journey at that time, helped you cope better. For sure. Like I had like a man who was obviously here the other day. He and I were both going through similar issues, except mine was just elevated at a different degree. You know, he knew he was getting his finance. I didn't, but his was delayed towards the same time as mine. So we were going through minor issues, or let's say major issues. And I think having somebody that's like that can relate to you is necessary. Just to help you feel sane. You know, like I think sometimes as humans, what we want, or what we describe as peace, is when we have control of things. But truly, like, that isn't peace, which is what I discovered. Like, peace doesn't actually equate for the things I have control of. It's actually my self-control in the situation that I've been thrown into. It's, you know, like it's how do I burn because there's fire, or I don't, because I've chosen and decided that I won't break or melt. So I think the support system was necessary, and I had one, and I built one just by being kind to people. Like I was just nice to people until I found my perfect fit. Obviously, like in navigating that, if I wasn't being honest with myself, I probably would have been around a bunch of people who would have effectively taken me in the other direction than I wanted to go. But luckily, like I had a good bunch of people who were upward minded, and I was upward minded in a downward situation. And on the days I want to go down, they would pull me back up, and then vice versa. And yeah, like I think they really helped, really helped, because like I said, they helped me feel more sane in situations I couldn't control. I think it's important. Like friendship is important in university. There are many moments that are going to be uncontrollable. But you need people who are, I think in life, my dad always says, like in life, you always meet people, and everybody in life is going one direction, right? You meet some people and they're going this way, and some people you meet them, they're going this way. You have to make sure that everybody you meet meets you and goes this way at the end of meeting you, and also the people that you meet, that you meet are pushing you to an upward trajectory. So I think yeah, I think my friends, luckily, by God's favor, was like they were upward minded. And I had to remove myself from obviously a few that were downward minded, people that just who wanted to kind of like, you know, kind of like sit in the sorrow of the situation. Whereas Manny, for example, like I remember I used to struggle with anger issues at the start of first year. You know, the pressure, everything is like on me. I would deal with everything, and
That's true.
I'm on Instagram live. But yeah, no. So I would struggle with certain things, and it's easy for your friends to be like, yeah, let's go fight, right? But he was like, no, bro, like take yourself out of the situation. Take yourself out of this. Like this is not great. Like don't do it. Like, you know, people who fought me for myself. So I think yeah, definitely helped me for sure.
It's amazing to hear, to be honest. And I think just by going back to what you said about, you know, the how humans we want to be relational, not relational, but everyone wants to. What was that word you used? When people, it was at the start. Oh, it was in my head. What did you tell? I was doing
Oh, no, but every human, like we're made to be relational. Like
we're made to be relational, and you know you want someone to relate to you, and you don't want to feel like that anomaly and stuff like that. And I think I can also, you know, like I can also relate to that, especially when going through it. Like if you have to go through it by yourself, that's like long, and then but having that other person be there, and you know both you can understand, it really brings a sense of peace to an extent. You know, like
yeah, for sure.
you don't feel alone and you don't feel by yourself. So it's amazing, and I think for everyone that's listening, just taking what he said into consideration, but like really listening to what you said about allowing people in, the right people in, because it's university. You're always gonna get the people that are gonna tell you they're for you and they're really not for you, and they might just try to sway you down the wrong way. So like it's so important to be woke even in those issues and in those problems. Oh, Pastor Mercy did say something. She said there's an opportunity in every challenge, and that's
Sure.
very interesting. I feel like I am learning that now
Okay.
after university, like, and you learned that throughout uni. You know what I mean? So yeah. The next question is, we see that you're a very creative guy. Did YouTube and photography give you a creative outlet? I think that is so like. I mean, do you want to answer that? Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I think they were foundational to build where I'm actually best at. Like I don't think those are my talents. I don't think those are my like gifts. I think what I'm discovering about myself is my judgment is my power. Like really my consent is actually how God made us. Like God really wants us to have powerful consent. Like where we say yes, like it should be yes. Where we say no, it should be no. I think what I'm finding is that those are just like good areas where they're good areas that stressed on the importance of having a good yes and a good no or good judgment. Like they were like when I tell you like photography, I guess it seems very simple, but I mean to put it in context of how it looks in a day in day out, it's the you have to develop relationships. People have to trust you. It's not so much as your work. They have to trust you. You have to talk. You know, you have to say, yeah, I can do this, and then your yes is yes, and they believe you, and then you actually illustrate your word, and then actually do it in action. And then I think there's so much to it, editing, photography, learning, like equipment. There's so much you're doing at the same time. You're experiencing new things, experiencing new people in always in constantly different areas, trying to do the same thing. You're presented with every single challenge, but within it all, as Pastor Master said, there is this crevice of opportunity. There is always a small hole that is like that you have a key to. Potentially, it's just if you search deeply for it, you will find that you can unlock something beautiful. So I think for me, yeah, like it helped me discover, like I said, like it's helping me discover that my talent is where my judgment is. I want to be known. I want someone to call me and say, Josiah, yeah, Josiah said I should, or Josiah, should I get this? Okay, cool, I trust you. That's majorly actually what my job looks like now. Like it's majorly what I'm fortunate to get paid for. It's majorly actually that. So yeah.
But yes, it gives you a creative outlet, right?
So say that one more time.
It did give you, you know, photography and video and YouTube did give you a creative outlet, would you say?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like it was my escape. Like the YouTube for me became the place where I just could share. And as a result of it, like create a community while doing it. There was lots of people. Like I discovered there was thousands and thousands of students dealing with the same issue. So it was a good opportunity to make some changes. There was a lot of changes made. Like some of the, because of my situation, student finance got audited and spoke to lots of people in high places, and lots of changes actually like happened because due to the buzz. It went everywhere. Like I saw like blogs in Nigeria like talking about the GoFundMe and stuff like that, like made for me for student finance. So like it was everywhere, right? It was but it was a small price to pay because everybody now knows you, and your privacy gets taken away from you. But you and I was now in a position where people could say, hey, like I have this problem and I can change it for them, or I could at least start a process of changes for them. But for me, it was, yeah, it's in the simplest nature. It was a creative outlet. Like my YouTube channel has where I just expressed every emotion every single day. I vlogged every day and I just expressed every emotion. I was like, well, I was sad, I'd say it because it was necessary. I felt like it was necessary for other people to be able to normalize expressing those emotions, especially young Black male. So yeah.
That's really amazing. By the way, guys, feel free to ask questions or say whatever you want to say in the comment section. We'll get to you. So right, next question is, how did your faith help you through university?
How did my faith?
Yeah. How did your faith help you through university? This is one that everyone open it.
I don't think there's a long elaborated answer. I think the beauty of faith is it really actually normalizes the things you go through. I'll put it like that. Like you could go through something crazy, but the Bible will tell you, this is happening because there was something I need to teach you, right? Like God says, like you're going through this pressure, but it's actually for you. So it's almost this poetic kind of silver lining to everything. So I think I can't imagine a life where I didn't believe in anything, because I would have some issues and I would feel helpless. But the fact that God says to me that, like, I don't, like, he will do everything, like he'll do exceedingly abundantly above all I could ask for, tells me that, like, in those situations where I don't have anything, that he is doing something above what I can even think. Like there is this communion that you feel. There is this, how can you truly ever be alone, even when you're alone? I think that's what supported me, because there was days of deep loneliness, like physically, like there's days of deep loneliness or let's say the illusion that I was alone, which then made me feel lonely, which then became this loop of like self-pity. Whereas so it tied me to this place that felt immovable, but as my arms and hands couldn't move, my faith grew, and for me it was beautiful, because then it showed me that I'm truly never limited with Christ. Like that's it. I'm truly never limited. Like you can bind my arms together, you can bind my body together, but you can't bind my mind. You can't bind my heart. Like that's something that God has put in a place that no one man should take, nor can they even impact to a certain degree. So I think my faith impacted me strongly because it made things make sense in situations that were just simply nonsensical. Like, why is this happening to me, God? Because I love you. Like, okay, why would you love me like this? Well, I mean, I love Job 41. Like, is such a beautiful verse. Like, I mean, because it's like in every situation, like God simply says to Job, like, do you know why the mountain goats climb the mountain the way they do? Do you know why this animal gives birth and then leaves this child? Like, do you know why an ostrich's wings are so big yet it doesn't fly? And it says that the ostrich laughs at the horse, which because the horse is not as fast as the ostrich, yet it's more muscular than the ostrich. It basically says to me, like, bro, like there's so much you don't even know here, and you're trying to play God up here. Like, he kept me in a position of contentment. Philippians 4:13, like the Amplified says that we are sufficient in his sufficiency, right? So I think it gave me that peace to be sufficient in his sufficiency in a situation that didn't make sense, in everything that didn't add up. It was like, God helped me say, I don't need to know the situations that I really wanted to know, because I have, that's faith, so I had to really put my faith where my mouth was, essentially. So yeah.
And as you said, I think that is so right. But you have those really rocky days where, because you use the story of Job. I'm reading the story of Joseph because I honestly feel like that, like we all have that moment in life where season changes and stuff like that. How, do you have those days when you do have those days? Because I know, yes, the faith is there to propel things that, that cannot be seen. Did you have those days as well, though, where you felt like your faith was weak? And even when you felt like your faith was weak, what did you do to help you ease those moments? Like, that could have been worshiping, praying. Like, but how was your faith for you? Like, how did you? Because I know it's very easy, and I think that's what everyone feels sometimes. Like, it's so easy to say those words that you said, and you've been through it. You get what I mean? You've been through it, but at the same time, it's like, how did you get through the really?
Yeah. How would I navigate someone? Yeah. How would I help somebody who's in that position?
Yeah, like, Lord, today I can't move out of my bed. Like, I'm
it's raw. It's raw. I think in that position, I think it's the funny thing. I think it's something I'm learning now more than ever. Is there is no right way to talk to God, and there is no wrong way to talk to God. Like, so I think a lot of times, sometimes, the devil makes you start to feel this sort of guilt that you have to somehow like sit up in bed when praying, or be on your knees on the corner when praying, or doing this when praying. Like, the truth is, if you don't feel like getting out of bed, like the acknowledgement of the truth of how you feel isn't the acknowledgement of the truth of what God is, which is just simply tell God how you feel. And at that point, the devil normally will try to pull you away to a point of loneliness, like where you shouldn't be talking to God. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, by the way. So I think I'll keep talking until she comes back. I don't know. Should I wait for her? Oh, let's wait for Eniola. Can you guys hear me? Comment below if you guys can hear me. I don't know if I've cut out. You good? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. I just like something. See, yeah, where you try to get the word in, and the devil tries it. We might have to bind it. Okay, we might have to bind it. I'm good. Like, I don't know what happened right there, but I'm so sorry. Could you just like go ahead and just like do what you gotta do and say what?
Okay.
I was like, what's going on? Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
like, but yeah.
It's funny because that's a perfect illustration of actually what I'm saying. It's like in moments of doubt, what will happen is that the devil will try to pull you away from people. So what sin does is that sin really just tries to push you in, like, away from the light, and then your habits then actually become like proper tendencies, then traditions, and traditions then culture, right? So what you want to do is you want to be in a place where you're visible at all times. Relationally, why God puts us in front of people is that we have less ability to hide, right? And I think in moments where your faith is sometimes so weak, you then actually want to hide. That's a natural human habit, is to hide, just like Adam and Eve. They tried to hide, right? It's our proclivity. It's how we are. And I think because we've seen that and it didn't work, because if we see an example of Adam and Eve and it didn't work for them, because they traded being clothed with glory to go to be clothed with fig trees, right? That tells me then I can't act the same way because it clearly doesn't work. So I didn't know this at the time, but the truth is, to anybody, like, and now I know it, so I have to share it. Like, the truth is, if you, in those days where you feel like, oh God, I don't even want to wake up, I don't even want to pray to you, well, then say that prayer out loud. Like, it's that, You know, like I think religion sometimes puts us under this pressure that we have to like say, "Oh, Holy Father, Lord, have me." Like it's not like the the best respect that you can pay God is to be truthful and honest with Him, because He can see you anyways. Right? That's the truth. Like you can see your heart anyways. So simply, if you were to acknowledge, if you can truly acknowledge how you feel, God, I don't really feel like this. Keep that dialogue, because the devil will try to interrupt that dialogue. The moment he interrupts that dialogue, he starts to feed you your own voice as if it's God. He starts to feed you your own voice. And I think in moments of doubt and in moments of pain, we have to unlearn our own voices and learn God's voices and His character, even if it comes sometimes in our own voice. I think that's something I've had to really learn. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't have talent. I like that's just simply untrue. I do have talent, so I use it every day. Like it's simply untrue. But in moments of doubt, what happens is all these things start to sound familiar, and they're in your own voice, so it sounds true. And then if you give them, if you give them power, or you get self pity, then you're in a really dangerous loop. Because self pity, kind of like Jonas when he was running away, is self pity is saying like God says, I need you to save 700 or 70,000 or 700,000 people, and you're like, no, and then you run away, and then guess what? God grows a shade over you, and then He shades you, and then He also grows a worm inside the tree, and then it dies, and then you say to God, how could you? Like, you know I'm hot, like you know I'm warm, like well, how would you let this die? And then He says, well, how would you let me kill? Like how would you let 700,000 people die? That's what self pity puts you in. It puts you in this mindset that tells you the wrong things as if it's truth. And the thing about that is that the devil's power is making you feel like anything that's said from a voice that's not yours is true, which is untrue. And you know, a basic statement is the truth is still the truth is still the truth, even if you don't believe it, and a lie is still a lie even if you believe it. We have to now learn it within ourselves in those moments where we don't feel good, that God is still there, because we're trying to create too many feelings and associations of God when God is ever present, which means He's always there. You don't need to feel anything. So I think in those moments, the simple solution is just to not run away. Find out what your normal habit is and walk the other way. If you want to run away, stand up. You know, but then it's acknowledge the truth of where you are. Like, and I'll put it like this very simply to answer the question. Like when you look at little kids, when you look at babies, when they're like drooling and they're playing toys on the floor and they're chewing stuff that they shouldn't be chewing, like it's actually really beautiful when you look at it, because you think, oh my God, they're so cute, right? Imagine that baby tried to outsmart you. It'll be silly because he's just not smarter than you, right? See, the moments when we're weak and we don't feel that we have that much faith, and then we try to run away or try to act like adults and try to man through it, we rob God from the opportunity to see us as the children that we are. Like He already knows that we're children, but we'll be robbing from that beautiful moment just to say, like that's actually my child, because the baby drooling is what makes the kid the kid. Like the baby being the baby is what makes the child, and God knows where we're at. And if we try to lie about it, how can He help you when you haven't told Him the truth? Just much like a dentist, I can't help know your point of pain if you don't tell me where the pain actually is. I can touch your teeth a little bit, but I won't help you. So I think recognize where you are just by being open about it, but then just don't give up on yourself. Like there's no right way to pray to God. Like just stop, recognize, oh God, I don't really feel like talking to you, and just keep that dialogue open, because the devil will try to pull you away. You know. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Do you know what, you said a lot of things, and I didn't interrupt you because the flow makes so much sense. Like, and that is literally getting past spent. But that is so amazing. Like that is so amazing. I can't, like, my brain is trying to calculate just so many things that you said. I can't even do that because I'm like, should I say this or in fact that was so amazing. I think for me personally, you know, the thing that I've taken away is just, you know, do the opposite of how you feel. And I think the part of what you said that also stuck with me is also learning the word. There was something you said, I can't remember, but
yeah, like learning your voice, to unlearn your voice and learn the word.
And learning His voice, which is the word of God. And honestly, like I can honestly tell you, like I think I ran through Psalm 121. I think we sing these songs in church, but we don't actually know that these are tools for life. Like I had a very interesting day today, and honestly, the only thing I could remember to speak was literally, "The Lord is my keeper." You know, sing the song, "You're my shade at my right hand," and all of these things. And it's like that's the beauty of being in that moment. And that's the thing, like there's also beauty in surrendering to God at those times and at those moments, because actually the Lord of your life. Like, we can't call you the Lord of our lives if we don't go through those things, and
Yeah.
don't
And then we tried to lord it ourselves.
you get. No, we can't. We can't. But yeah, now let's look at that. Time is, we have 20 minutes left. I have about how many more questions? By the way, guys, thank you for like still tuning in and like just giving us so much energy. Someone said we can hear you, Josiah. Someone said yes, yeah. Someone said so.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, guys, thank you so much for still, keeping in the loop with us. We really appreciate it. So the next question is, have you got any advice for those coping with stress and different challenges? If you feel like you've answered this, by the way, just be like, I've answered this. Anything new?
I'll keep it short and brief. Like I think I've shared a few points, but yeah, I think on a faith.
Just by the way, this ties into another question that was asked by somebody.
Okay, cool.
Any tips on how to balance work and academics? So
Okay.
challenges, stress, academics. So like, if you can.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So in terms of stress and all those things, like, yeah, first of all, you have to learn this beautiful thing. Everything that's urgent is not important, and everything that's important doesn't come urgently. So stress will tell you, oh my God, I gotta do so much. And then what happens is you start to panic. You start to over accelerate time. And actually time doesn't move faster than 1 second at a time. You just start to move faster. So when you stress, you actually create an illusion that time is moving faster than it is. It isn't doing anything much more. You're doing something more. So relax, like stop. Because you don't have control of it. Right. What you can control is your resources and your resourcefulness of what you're doing. So I think that's that. Learn to differentiate what's important, learn to differentiate what not to do and when to do it, the right time. I think that will help you to be more balanced actually across work, academics. It's a lot of sacrifices, but we always talk about in church, we talk about sacrifices. Oh yeah, make the right choice, make the right choices. But we don't talk about when we should make the right choices, or like what's the right context when I should make the right, like there's so much more to it. Simply, like there isn't one right way to do it. And the beauty of the secret place, if like you talk about the secret place in the Bible, I think it's so beautiful because I think a lot of people just really misunderstand it. But the secret place truly is anywhere where God wants me to be at the time He wants me to be there. That's the secret place, because then I'm actually in direct communion with Him. I'm where He wants me to be. I've listened and I've heard, I've obeyed. That whole statement, God is love, like that whole union. I'm in a union with Him. So I think to balance in all these things is to also hearken to the voice inside that tells you, do this instead. And maybe you've ignored it a little bit. That conscience is literally something that's installed to every human, whether you are a Christian or not. But it's just like, yeah, like it's that gravitational pull that pulls you, like, like if I throw something in the air, it comes down. And maybe somebody in Australia is actually below me right now, but same likewise, when they throw something in the air, it comes down. Everything's coming to the same direction. God has installed in us this conscience that actually pulls all of us to truth because of the way He's designed everything. And, from dust to dust, right? So we came from the earth, and then also God breathed life into us. So He put the conscience in us, which is actually Him. And then we're bound with earth, and there's always a constant pull. And when you have a conscience, it's that your what's good for you is pulling against what's normal for your body, right? And what's normal for your body isn't always what's best for you upwards. So you have to make that fight. And sometimes that conscience inside, we ignore it and then we go this way. But what we should learn how to do is hearken to that voice that says, yeah, just like it's probably the best thing to do. So with work, it's probably best to do it now. Like, I know you got 5 weeks, but it's probably best to do it now, right? Because we don't know time. But this conscience, what it does is that it does act like the covering that God has on us, because it's God's character. It's His nature. It actually works outside of time. So your conscience, those times where you made a decision and you deep like God, you did some madness for me, you bust like, right? You were in the secret place, and you were in the right place at the right time because you hearkened onto the voice that works above time. That's the one that works outside of time, the one that can predict time. I can't predict what happened tomorrow, but there's a part of me that sometimes can tell me, don't go out, because it knows of what comes tomorrow. So it stops you right now, right? So I think it's to balance everything, academics and work, is to do things at the right time. And that's not at all comfortable. It's a lot of sacrifices. It's got to be harsh to yourself. Yeah.
And you know what? That sort of like ties in with procrastination. Like, do you have anything to say about procrastination? that people go through in university that people don't want to talk about. And I think it's still something people go through. It's a habitual thing that has probably gone through people's lives probably since before uni, after uni, and stuff like that. Procrastination is on its own wave, but like you have something to say about that, because I know that people are going to need that in terms of uni and stuff like that. But yeah, we just want to.
I mean, number one, I think we're not machines. So I think if you procrastinate, you have to ask yourself why you're procrastinating. There's different parts of it. Like there's different parts of this. Like on a less empathetic note, it's like if you procrastinate, there's an arrogance that you have because you think you have time. That's it. But then equally, you also have time. So it's kind of like, okay, like I'll do this later. Well, do you know how many processes it takes to get to later? Like, are you sure that you will get to later? So if you understand that, then that gives you the sense urgency of life to actually be okay to do things at the right time. But also on the natural level of it is we're humans, and also God knows our character, and the way He actually helps us and guides us is actually favorably within our character, because if He installed within me free will, then He also loves me enough for Him to sustain my free will. But what He do is put signs in place to support your choices to help you make the right one. So when you procrastinate, first of all, you have to ask yourself why you're procrastinating, but then also don't kill yourself for procrastinating, because sometimes we get tired, the mind gets overstimulated. Learn how you learn, right? The education system isn't made for everybody. It isn't made for, like, it's not made for me. My mom did a whole PhD on reflection as a tool of learning, because she's been to Cambridge, Warwick, every single great institution, and she's found that learning is not made for a woman like her. It's made for somebody else who likes certain things, but learning isn't made for her, which means if she's smart enough to have published something on it, then surely there is a problem there, right? That education isn't for everybody the way we see it. So don't kill yourself trying to, because you're not molded in a specific set of ways. Learn how that set of ways needs you, and then apply yourself better, because procrastination is kind of like just prolonged. It's an overstimulation. So you know what to do. It's just there isn't enough of a reason for you to do this now. Like it's a motivation issue. It's a really weird one. So find what motivates you. Or for me, my motivation when I procrastinate, because I'm a big procrastinator, by the way. Like I can procrastinate for England, except how procrastination looks like for me is actually very, very. I function really well, but I still procrastinate. But then my level of functionality is great, but I know that really I should be up here, but I'm still above other people, so they think I'm not procrastinating. So for me, it's motivation. I love relationships. I want to spend time with people. I want to go out to eat. I like eating out. So I have to get stuff done so I can do those things. And I want to do those things uninterrupted. So I get things done at the right time, which is hard, but do it. Put it like this. It's a mentality change. Eat the frog first and then have the cake later. Like it's weird, but like, I mean, if somebody gave you a frog, right, it's nasty. It's disgusting, right? Makes your face go like that, right? But then imagine you ate the cake first. You're left with this bitter aftertaste after something so sweet. Whereas when you eat the frog first, it's nasty, but then after you're washed with this refreshing sense of something sweet, and that's what's actually most memorable to you. The disgust is what you felt with the frog, but now you get to eat the cake, which is pleasant. So when you do things at the right time, the things that are hard, you just basically have to learn to eat the frog first. You're not going to always like what you have to do, but that's the other end of the stick. If you say that you want to do this in your life, then this is what comes with it. You can't just pick one end of the stick and drop it. No, pick it up, own it, and own the consequence of the actions that you picked up. So yeah,
that's amazing. By the way, guys, we literally have how many minutes left? We have like 10
10 minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
So
I'll be quick enough. Can adapt. Right answers.
If you would love to ask any questions, please do right now. Do right now. Because we's about to wrap this party, like party. All right. I think there's one question. Someone has a question. Says, when coping with stress, how would you advise people? And I feel like you might have answered this, but let me just say, when coping with stress, how would you advise people to ensure their coping mechanisms are positive and not detrimental to their life or faith?
I think number one, like speak to people, I think always speak to a healthcare professional if things really get worse. Speak to your pastor, speak to anybody that's employed in your life that's higher and above you who wants the best for you so that they can tell you the truth. There's a lot of, sometimes we have people like that tell us the nice things that we need. So we think we need anyways, but some people just tell you stuff that makes you feel warm, but it doesn't solve your problems. And warmth isn't your problem, but you like warmth, right? Problems sometimes create tendencies which make you want to be warm. Like, I want to be seen, I want to be visible, I want to feel loved. And it's like, your problem isn't that you can't feel loved. The problem is that why are you requiring that as a function in a life where God already loves, like, so many different things. Like, so I think employ people in your life that are upward minded, or let's say are in a position that vertical where they can pull you up out of your rubbish, right? Because sometimes we have very valid pains, very valid reasonings, but we're clouded, we're in a drunk state.
Yeah.
You can't expect somebody who's drunk to drive you home and drive straight, right? But what would be great is if you have somebody that says, yeah, don't get in the car, you're drunk, right? But you need to employ those people in your life. Be bold, step out your comfort zone, and talk to people outside. Like, I know that for me, I should have spoke to Pastor Mercy more about certain things. That's the reality. Because the moment I started to talk to her, it makes sense. So
Pastor Mercy, can you hear him? Yeah, he said it. But yeah, no. Someone just asked the question. They said, you mentioned dealing with insecurities. What were they, and how did you deal with them?
yeah, see, that's a bad question. Oh, tell me your insecurities. I'm insecure. Like,
What it was like.
I'm joking. I'm really open. I had quite a few insecurities. Like, my experience in university on the ground level was tough because I was a conflict. I'm a conflicted man. I was conflicted even more then as well. So, for example, yeah, go out, have fun, yeah, ladies, yeah, girlfriend, all that. I've never liked the idea of it. I've always been in a position where I've been in relationships and I didn't want them. Like I entered them, or was there something that there was just always this feeling of like having to do something because I was a man, or because I was this, or because I was now I tell you now, I wake up and I realize, oh my God, I didn't need to. Like, I was just a slave to somebody. Like, who's that person, right? Essentially, like, no, but it's true. Not in the relationship, but in like the fact that, like, I allowed my insecurities to take away from the truth of who I am. Like, that was it. So my insecurities were majorly around that. Like, there was many things I felt like, oh, like, I'm not man enough to do this, or I'm not, all those little things. So, and how do I deal with them? Is by being open with them, speaking about them. Like, my mentor puts it like this, like, a lot of us have issues in our life and we try to put it away and put plaster over it. But how a wound really cuts, like, it heals, is by when it's opened up, and it might bleed a little bit, but it needs to breathe, and it needs to scar. Then maybe it scabs, then we peel it, and then the skin actually then grows together. That's actually how we deal with insecurities. But a lot of us try to put it away, and then one day we just address it. It's like, nah, yeah, open it, be open. Once again, it goes back to what I said. The devil tries to pull you into the shadows. Come back to the light. Be seen. Because when you're seen, actually, a lot of us, when we are seen, we want the best for ourselves. Some people go to a cafe to work because they like people watching them, because they get the feeling of it. I can get work done because people are looking at me. All right. Like, in human nature, sometimes we are our best selves in front of people. The psychology calls it the Hawthorne effect. And the same with how Christ has designed us, is that when we're in front of him, right, we shine. But what we eventually will get to is that even when he sends us away to go do something that we're not here, that shine follows us, which that shine is actually him. So I think with the insecurities, it's a case of opening up about it. Don't hide, be transparent, talk to people, and dare to talk.
Right, Josie, I hope you heard that. And we have like literally a few minutes left. But before we finish, if there was something you had to like drop. Wait, I have two questions. What was your favorite moment? Attendance is your favor. Like, what was like? What
What's
made
your
you?
favorite?
Like, yeah, and number two, if you had something to just leave for the people, you finished that. If you have something to
Okay.
leave for the people, what would it be? Like, what would be your last advice for everyone, both in uni and not in uni? Because I can do that. But yeah,
Okay. So
I know.
best moment in well, what was it about Safe Haven that I loved, basically? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I love Pastor Mercy because she's ruthless. but loving. That's what you need. Someone that tells you the truth, but somebody that loves you in the softness of who you are, but also in the harshness of what you need. But I think that was majorly actually why I came, because when I saw Pastor Mercy preach, I was like, damn, like I like heavy stuff. I like people telling me the truth. I love it, but just not enough people in my life tell me the truth. Everybody likes to say pretty things around me. I like people tell me the truth. Like, yeah, you're a great guy, but you need to improve on this. I need that. So that's what I loved about See a Favor. Then also majorly it was there's a great community of people trying to do a great thing. And there's a lot of lovely sisters and brothers who take all these background positions to just make things happen. So there's a lot of people who don't get appreciated on the stage for a lot of things, but there's a lot of people who are invested in trying. So I think that's really always beautiful to see. It's always beautiful to see young people. Like, sometimes I look at people like, damn, how are you so passionate about God? And it's funny because it's a journey. Everybody had a journey, but it was so nice to see so many people who were trying to do the right thing. So it's really nice. That's what I love about See a Favor, and it was a home for me, really a home for me. I'm gonna miss it, but I'm gonna try to come. I'm gonna try to come once COVID is come.
No, like one last thing for us, because we literally have 4 minutes.
I'm good with time. I can keep it long, short. Like, don't worry. Okay. So last thing. Okay. So I think it's been on my heart like a lot, right? It's the love like never before. I think God is echoing that to everybody, like love more than ever before. It's stressful times, it's crazy times. What the devil is doing is actually compartmentalizing us more and more and more, pulling us apart from each other. And it's very cheeky, but it's like, damn, the same way that the devil tried to pull you away is that God will just equip you to be greater where you are. So in moments of deeper darkness, God gives us the opportunity to give deeper light. So I think in your lives, with everybody who's listening, try to love somebody like tomorrow, even today. Like, love them, not in the way you receive love, but try to identify a way that somebody actually needs love and give that to them directly as that. Thing about Jesus is who he was, but he gave everybody what they needed, how they needed it, when they needed it. Right? What we miss as Christians is we try to give a Christian's love, which is very actually sometimes often more backwards than designed, because it's like, yeah, love God, love God. Yeah, my sister, I'm gonna come and be a truth bearer. I'm gonna hit them with the truth, and some people that scares them away, right? And then they become people who hate Christ rather than just hate the person. So we have to be mindful of how we navigate. So everybody just love like you never loved before, but also understand that to love is to be intentional, with detail, to be researched on the thing that you're loving, and decide to pick something up and love it, because we need that more than ever. Now more than ever, young people, we're searching. Everybody's searching. So be the person that somebody finds today. So yeah.
Oh, I saw just like that. Now, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on IRI's YouTube channel. Like, we have literally had a blast. I hope you've had a blast as well. Join us next week. I will be on the panel having a conversation. I think it's with Manny, and I'm just basically talking about my faith. But Josiah, it's been an amazing time. It's been lovely to have you guys. It's been amazing. And there was one more question, but so sorry we can't answer it. Just bring this next time. And yeah, guys, like, have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week. So yeah, bye, Josiah.
Bye.
Bye.